Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. In this Path of Exile 2 video, I want to talk to you about the Ascendancy classes for the Monk. This one's pretty interesting. You can choose from the Invoker or the Acolyte of Chayula. Let's go ahead and talk about the Monk right now. I went ahead and jumped into their forum post about the Ascendancy classes going into early access. And at the time of recording this video, I have not played Path of Exile 2. This is just me going through the Ascendancy classes here and deciding what I want to play at the start of early access. Hopefully you'll enjoy talking about the Ascendancy classes here for the Monk. Also at the start of early access, we're going to have 12 different Ascendancies to choose from. There's quite a lot here, 2 per class, 6 different classes, but today we're going to be talking about the Monk. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the Invoker. This one is based around meditation so that you can get more energy shield, as well as applying ailments so that you can get this avatar form as well and deal even more damage. Let's go ahead and break it down though. The very first one here is Lead Me Through Grace. This will grant you 1 spirit for every 6 energy shield that you have on your equipped body armor. You're also going to gain 1 spirit for every 15 evasion rating on your body armor. Now you cannot gain spirit from equipment. Now spirit, as far as I understand, is a new resource in the game, right? You have health and you have mana. We know what those do. But spirit is what you use to reserve and equip different auras and minions as well. So if you're not going to be doing a lot of heavy spirit stuff, you may want to grab this. But you'll kind of have to wait because maybe you can make up for it depending on that body armor with energy shield and evasion rating. And maybe you can actually get even more spirit with this as well. So will be interesting to see. Next up, we have Protect Me From Harm. This is going to make it so that you get physical damage reduction. And it's pretty awesome. So evasion rating is going to grant you that physical damage reduction. However, you have 40% less evasion rating. So basically physical damage reduction is going to scale off your evasion, but you have less evasion. I think that's a really good trade-off in my opinion. That'll take care of that defensive layer for physical damage. Now you're going to need to figure out your elemental kind of resistance and defensive layer there as well. Next up, we have Faith as a Choice. This is going to grant you the skill Meditate. Meditate is a spell that you can channel to recharge your energy shield. Now, what's cool about this is you can actually overcharge and double your energy shield with this ability. It's pretty cool. Now, the channeling will end if you take damage or once you get that double energy shield that we just mentioned. And once your energy shield's doubled, you can't use it again to quadruple it or anything like it's just you can double your energy shield. I feel like they had to put this in here just because people would probably question that. And also, if you have no maximum energy shield, you can't use Meditate, which makes perfect sense. So that's Meditate. My whole thing when I very first saw the spell was like, dude, I really probably don't want to stop while I'm fighting to meditate, but maybe we can get like channeling speed or something like that so that you can recharge it even quicker. I don't know. Next up, we have I Am Blizzard and I Am Thunder. These two are very similar. This is going to come into play here when we talk about the Unbound Avatar. But what it is, Blizzard is your cold, and Thunder obviously is your lightning. You're going to get a chance. It's going to make it so that 10% of your damage is cold, and also lightning if you go the Thunder route. Then over here on the Blizzard, when you freeze enemies, you'll create chilled ground, which I think is like just an AoE that does chill damage. And then on Thunder, you have a 25% chance that when you shock an enemy to create shocked ground. So 2 different ailments there. And Unbound Armor here is kind of I feel like the big massive thing that would make me want to go Invoker anyway. So what it is when you inflict an elemental ailment, you will gain Unbound Fury. Once that Unbound Fury is at maximum, you will consume it to become an Unbound Avatar for a certain amount of time. And this is going to give you more elemental damage, I think, different buffs and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to see like how strong is this avatar form, and it's insanely OP. I mean, I don't know. The Invoker I think sounds pretty cool. Next up, we have the Soul Springs Eternal. This is going to be some meta skills gain 35% more energy. And I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm not entirely sure how meta skills function in this game. I Googled it and I was getting into, I really am trying to avoid builds. And I was getting into a point where I was like, I don't want to spoil this for myself. But what it sounds like to me as a meta skill is like you can have 1 of these. And once you have a certain amount of energy, you can use it. And then it's like a really good ability. I honestly don't know. Once we get into the game and we dig more into what the meta skill means, maybe we'll see some more benefit here from this node. So again, that's pure speculation, and I didn't want to spoil like all the builds. I'm not one of those people that likes to look up and know everything before the game's even out, which you might think is weird that I'm making Ascendancy videos, but I'm just simply trying to decide which Ascendancy and which class I want to go at the start of early access and which one sounds the most awesome. Anyway, let's keep going here. This one is, we have Sunder My Enemies. This is going to make it so that your crits ignore monsters' elemental resistances. Even more damage there. That's awesome. Especially, I mean, you're going to be wanting to do crits and crit damage anyway, right? Last but not least, we have Scatter Them to the Winds. This is going to give you a new skill called Elemental Expression. You can trigger Elemental Expression on melee critical hits. Now, I don't know if you can directly cast this or not, but it's going to create a fiery explosion, a bolt of lightning, or an icy wave of projectiles. Now, it's going to depend which effect you have, the fire, the lightning, or the ice, depending on your attributes for strength, dexterity, or intelligence. So the higher each of those attributes are, the higher of a chance you have for this type of explosion or bolt or wave to occur. So it sounds, the Invoker sounds really awesome, having all these different effects, the Unbound Avatar. The meditation's kind of meh, but I do like the physical damage reduction in there as well. And also the Shot Ground and Chilled Ground sounds pretty fun too. The Invoker seriously is, like originally I was like, I'm not going to play Monk, but the Invoker actually looks pretty fun. It might be in my top 3 now. I don't know yet. But that's the Invoker. Let's go ahead and kick it over here to the Acolyte of Chayula. The Acolyte of Chayula here is based around chaos damage, and this one sounds crazy here. I'm going to try to make it as simple and straight to the point as possible here, but there's a little bit here to cover. So the Acolyte of Chayula here, you can make it so that Mana Leech is instant, and you're going to want that because over here on Consuming Questions, you cannot recharge your energy shield. The way that you get your energy shield back is through Mana Leech. That's why you'd want your Mana Leech to be instant. Next up, and remember, you don't have to take all these. You can choose which ones you want to take. So if you're like, nah, not for me, you could do some of these other nodes that we're going to talk about too. The other one here is Chayula's Gift. This is a 10% to maximum chaos resistance, and it will also double your chaos resistance. Pretty good chaos damage and chaos resistance, at least in PoE 1, was something that, like, the other resistances are relatively easy to cap, but chaos resistance always took me a little bit longer to get up there. So this would help out, I think. Reality Rending. This is going to give you basically a chance to deal extra chaos damage. Now you have a lower chance to deal more. So here's what we kind of mean by that here. You have a 23% chance to gain 25% of the damage as chaos. You only have a 13% chance to get a 50% of your damage to be chaos, and you only have a 7% chance to gain 100% of damage with hits as extra chaos. So again, as I said, once we first started talking about the Acolyte here, chaos damage is going to be the name of the game. Next up, we have Waking Dream. Now, Breach is an old season mechanic from PoE 1. They're like the little red hands that stick out of the ground that you go, and then you open up a breach and you kill stuff in there. You can summon your own breach, basically. This is pretty awesome. So it's going to create a breach around you, and this will open up and allow you to see these buff orbs that you can pick up called Flames of Chayula. And while you're in there, you're actually considered to be inside of a breach as well. Now, let's go and talk about these Flames of Chayula and what they do. They're going to, the red ones are going to basically heal you. The blue ones are going to give you maximum mana. And the purple ones are a stacking damage buff, basically. It can stack up to 10 times, so you can get up to 70% damage to chaos damage. And the buff does last for 5 seconds. Now you can come over here and pick up Lucid Dreaming, and the effect and duration of these flames is doubled. So you can get 140% chaos damage that lasts for 10 seconds. Pretty good. We'll have to see what the cooldown is on this into the breach ability and see how often we can be getting those buffs. But that, yeah, right. I can tell you right now, if I were to go Monk, the Acolyte of Chayula sounds like the most unique and interesting to me. Next up, we have Embrace the Darkness. Basically, you have no spirit. This is like the most dark ascendancy, I think, that I've talked about here and that I've seen through reading through this forum post. You have no spirit, so you can't use any auras or any of that stuff. But instead, you get maximum darkness is set to 100. So darkness, you're giving up spirit for darkness. It really is like crazy. So for each life or energy shield lost to damage, you're going to reserve 1 darkness instead. So it kind of reserves your life and energy shield. and puts it into that darkness meter. That reservation will last for 10 seconds. You can actually get that down to 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, you gain that reservation back, basically. And then each level you can get it so you get more maximum darkness. This, I think, Embrace Darkness is going to be really overpowered for your survival and defenses. Just from reading this, again, we'll have to wait till we actually get our hands on the game and try it out. But you can also get Grasp of the Void. This is going to give you 1% damage as extra chaos damage per 20 unreserved darkness. So you have this whole darkness meter. When you take life or energy damage, it will reserve part of your darkness. After 5 seconds, you'll gain that back. Each level, you'll gain 5 more darkness for that whole meter thing. And then you're also, the amount that you have unreserved is going to give you more damage as well. So that is the monk. We have the Invoker and the Acolyte of Cheula Ascendancies. Let me know down in the comments if you're going monk, which Ascendancy you think you're going to go with. If it were me, if I were to go to monk, I think the Acolyte of Cheula sounds way more interesting. The Invoker sounds a little bit more fun and blasty though. So I am seriously torn, and I know now we've covered all the 12 Ascendancies in early access here. And I don't know if making all these videos was a good idea or not, because now I'm like, seriously don't know which class I'm going to pick, because they all sound really fun and awesome. There's a few that are kind of like meh, but there's several that, I mean, I probably have like a top 10 list now, honestly. But that is going to wrap it up for this Path of Exile 2 Monk Ascendancy classes preview video. We talked about the Invoker and the Acolyte of Cheula. Hopefully you found this video useful and or entertaining. If so, don't forget that like button and subscribe to the channel if you think I've earned it. Please consider becoming a YouTube channel member today. You'll unlock some pretty fun perks such as behind the scenes, bloopers that I find while editing videos, as well as early access to videos when I release a whole big batch. It also helps out the family a lot. But don't forget, your view alone means the absolute world. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.